What's going on, everybody? Brandon back here. Got another week done of 8 weeks to Sealfit. Coming off of week 5, and it's definitely been a challenge to say the least. So here's what it's all about. Alright, so just to start off, if I sound a little bit off or lose track, it's because I'm actually fighting a bit of a cold right now. Charlotte weather decides to have every season in 1 week, and it finally caught up with me. So yeah, I might sound a little congested or just lose track of my thoughts for a second, but that would be why. So with that aside, going into week 5, easily I would say has been the hardest transition of this program so far. Just at the beginning of the week, it even has a separate section where it evaluates in the book that this coming week and the weeks to follow are not going to be easy. They're not going to be suited for most people who are not ready for the challenge, and it even advises ways to break up the long workouts so people just don't get overwhelmed and just want to straight up quit. And one way that it advises for these workouts to be broken up is to do half of it in the morning and then go throughout your day and then address the other half in the afternoon. Just break it up into 2 separate pieces. Another way that it advises to do that is to just take half of the workout and just make it that your routine for the day. And then the following day you do the other half of the workout, which essentially it's just going to add on to, your total weeks till completion. So it won't be 8 weeks, it'll be however you adjust the program accordingly. But it does advise to do things if necessary and to also carry around extra fuel for these workouts because they are longer. Carry a protein bar, electrolytes, BCAAs, whatever, floats your boat, whatever you can handle. And they are much longer than the previous week of exercises. So in the last 4 weeks, the longest I've spent on these exercises at the gym was maybe a little over an hour and 10 minutes on the days where the CrossFit exercises started to come in around week 4, I'd say. And the least amount of time it took me to do the entire routine, because I did this entire week on one go. I just went to the gym, did all of it at once. It took me closer to 2 hours and 15 minutes on the lower end of the spectrum. On the higher end, it took me anywhere from about 250, 255, somewhere in that range. And yeah, definitely I carried a little extra fuel during those workouts, because usually I only carry water, if that. But after I hit about the hour and a half mark, I had a BCAA sport drink with me that I had. And there was one day on the 3-hour workout where I had a protein bar around the 2-hour mark or so. So yeah, the routines definitely got a lot longer and a lot harder. And for the routines in general, there's not as many AMRAP routines this week. So you actually have to dedicate to doing a certain amount of reps rather than, do as many as you can do in a certain time frame. And in that regards, the rep range has gone up dramatically. I want to say that in the last 4 weeks, the most amount that it would require, say for not push-ups, but maybe like pull-ups, for example, I think it only called for maybe 12 in one go. Yeah, now it's upwards towards, 30, 40, 50 range. And usually they're down sets, so it'd be a routine of do 50 reps of this routine, then do 35 of this routine, and then do 15 of the same routine. But the range is definitely higher, which is more of a challenge, obviously. So the structure for the week has also changed as well. So before it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday would be where you would implement, heavy strength training on certain exercises. Now it's Monday, Tuesday, Friday. And the dynamics for that have changed as well. So you're no longer doing 5 sets of 5 rep range. For whatever exercise it calls for you to do, you're going to find out your max rep range or your max weight for 10 rep range. And then once you find that out, you're going to use 5% off of that and then do an exercise with 10 reps. And then you're going to take 10% off of your max for your next set of 10 and then knock out those 10 as well. And that's pretty much going to be your strength exercises. So the main exercises that it's addressing this week for the strength section is going to be push press, bench press, and back squats. So there was a few other random exercises that were new this week. You got the power snatch into overhead squat. That one I was a little used to doing from all the overhead squats, so throwing the power snatch in there wasn't too bad. My only thing that it kind of hit me hard was it was much later in the week after I've already been pretty fatigued, so I couldn't use the highest weight that I normally would for an overhead squat, especially since it was, 15 sets of this exercise, but I was still able to get it done and it was new. Another one is wave offs, which I thought I would be pretty good at looking at the exercise because I've never done it before, but it calls for about 100 4-count wave offs for 15 sets with other exercises involved as well. And that's just another example. All these exercises, there is a lot going on. So when I was looking at other videos of just like, Sealfit and Buzz training of what they're going through, when you see the videos where they're just sitting there and they're going and going and going the entire time, pretty much that's what you're going to be doing this week. Another exercise that was new was double unders. I've never really been that great at double unders. I jump rope occasionally and I can do it, but for some reason I just never been good at double unders. So what I did for that was I just doubled the rep range. So it called for 100 double unders, so I did just regular 200 jump rope instead. So another thing that has increased is the running distance, which for me, when I saw that, I just had the biggest shit-eating grin because I was finally happy that some heavy mileage has been thrown in there. So now the longest distance in one go that it's going to call for is a 3-mile run. And in the last 4 weeks, the longest distance, if I recall correctly, accumulated, so not in one go, but just accumulated through one day of total exercise, you'd run about 1.25 miles, 1.5 miles, somewhere in that range. But this time it calls for an actual 3-mile run. And throughout all the other exercises through the week, the smaller distances have increased as well. So now your typical of what you're going to look at is about a 1/2 mile run in one go. And the last exercise that it threw in, which probably made me grow an inch or two on my shoulder muscles and my upper back muscles, was the partner carry. And pretty much what you're going to do for that, if you have a training partner, you're going to just more or less put them over your shoulders like you're carrying them like a sandbag, and you have to carry them for 1/2 mile accumulated. And if you don't have a partner to do this with, it says that you can opt out for using a 135-pound bar and just place it on your shoulders like you would like if you were doing a back squat, and just walk 1/2 mile with it. So in my gym, I don't really have that much room to just go 1/2 mile, obviously. So I was doing just circles pretty much around the gym. And even doing that, I could only go for maybe 1.5 minutes straight, maybe 2 minutes of carrying this thing on my back before, my arms started locking up, my shoulders started locking up, and that one took me a minute to get through. And by the time I was done, I was just ecstatic. And yeah, I definitely gained some shreddedness on my shoulders and upper back because of that exercise. So just evaluating, I guess, my energy through the week. Around Wednesday, I would say that I started waking up and I was just shot for energy. But, I eat relatively clean throughout the day, and eat according to my needs. I don't really drink like excessive like soda or anything like that. And, I think that really helped me a lot. But this is the first week in a while where I actually got out of bed, and the first thing I grabbed instead of my coffee was a BCAA drink to kind of start the protein synthesis process quicker. And definitely kind of needed it, because there was one day where I did wake up and, I had a double take of, I'm actually kind of dizzy because of how sore I am. Come around Thursday, I'd say it was my hardest day, because physically I was just shot at that point. I had the ambition to get to the gym and to get everything done, and there was just that one little voice in my mind that was just like, why am I still here doing this? Because where I could normally do like 25 push-ups, no prob, even if I'm stressed, I was only able to do maybe like 10 max. And, other exercises, pull-ups, I could normally hit out 15 to 20, and I could barely do 5 because I was just that blown out. And my mind started turning on me a little bit, and I had to address it. And when it got to the point where, internally I was just sitting there like, okay, go, you can do this. It's part of the process. It's part of the lesson. The whole time I'm sitting there, I was like, just quit, just quit, just quit, just quit. I had to stop for a minute and just reassess myself and, get back up and, just not give up, more or less. I've come this far, and, there's just, a lot of effort that's gone into this to just quit right now. And it's just like, if I did, it would be over a bullshit reason. And that's what I just kept telling myself. If I quit, it's over a bullshit fucking reason, and I have to live with that. And, circumstantially, I think the thing that kicks in the most when I'm about to quit is usually it's because I start feeling more or less sorry for myself, because it's like, you're struggling through all this and you don't know which way to go, and I'm on this path alone, and yada yada yada. And it always comes down to where I just yell at myself, nobody fucking cares but you. Like, get your shit together, it's on you. That's it, the end of the day. And after, just kind of building myself back up, I got through the rest of the exercise, more or less went back to basics. And, I would sit there and I would do pull-ups, and at the time I think I had to do 50 total, and I was knocking them out 5 to 10 at a time, and knock them out, look at my watch, okay, good job, 15-20 second rest, do another 5, great, doing better, 15-20 second rest, and just go back to the basics. And it's slow, but it's doing it pretty much. It's not giving up. And again, I've heard a lot of people, they've said through when the going gets tough and everything, that, if you have that little voice that tells you you're going to quit, then you're going to quit. And I don't necessarily believe that to be true, because nobody's perfect. You're going to turn against yourself, most likely, especially when you beat yourself down that hard. It's just how quick you're going to address that bullshit and push it out of your mind. And, get back to what you need to do. And not, I'm not perfect, I'm human, and, pretty much just had to address that and kick it the hell out of my way and keep going at it. So yeah, pretty much after that, it got to the point where I was doing the last exercises, and it was like holding planks and wall sits, and I was so amped up after that moment of almost quitting because of absolute, bullshit, more or less, that I literally did those exercises until I collapsed. And, when I planked, I literally hit the floor, like, let go of all the weight, hit the floor, get on the wall, do the wall sit, pretty much collapse, ass hit the floor, and I was done. So yeah, after Thursday's mental struggle and physical struggle, Friday ended up getting back into it, and still pretty sore, and my mindset was worlds better that day because of what happened Thursday. But again, I was just physically destroyed and going through the routine more or less and doing what I could. Now this routine, actually, it was for the last 4 weeks, going Monday through Friday. And this time, coming on week 5, it actually calls through Monday through Saturday. I did not do Saturday just because, time permitted, only have Monday through Friday. So pretty much did Monday through Friday, and even then, I could see how this would be very beneficial just, for endurance and body training and everything like that. Now, again, from a running aspect, there's still not too much, but still enough to challenge you, especially when they put the running in there. It's after you're already fatigued from everything else, too, so it really challenges you. So that's pretty good, too. So that's it. That's week 5. About to go into week 6 now, and it's actually Christmas week now. So happy holidays to everybody. One good thing about going to the gym on Christmas is that there's a good chance that it'll be completely empty. So looking forward to that aspect. And getting at it, starting off with a cold, so we'll see how this week goes. There might be a few things changed because of that aspect, but, not giving up and still going at it. So, until next time.